Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for the late start. We've had some technical difficulties. During the declared emergency in the City of Toronto, Committee of Adjustment virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and a provincial order that limits attendance at public gatherings. This will be a virtual public hearing, and participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using WebEx, an online event that is being moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting either by their computer, a phone or tablet app, or by telephone. All participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. Any registered participants will be participating by audio only. We ask that you also mute your devices until you are called on to speak. To ensure audio clarity, I also suggest that you refrain from using the speakerphone function on your telephones. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Alan Smithies, and I will chair today's meeting. Joining us on the panel today are Ron Hunt, Asif Khan, Paul Kidd, and Nadini Sankar Peralta. City staff are also present: Daniel Antonacci, Brendan Clapp, and Jenny Kotas. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning bylaw that apply to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property and to create new lots. Anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, because Committee of Adjustment and the TLAB will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, decisions may be appealed to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the Local Planning Appeal Tribunal. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing procedure is as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation if required. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into the committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, is given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you reach the 5-minute limit. When addressing the committee, please state clearly your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters described in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee of the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. To ensure that a revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes, the committee may decide to defer the application if it is substantially revised. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, are invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This marks the end of discussion on this item. The application is taken into committee for a decision. Members of the committee, I have minutes from our previous meeting of the 9th of July 2020 that we need to adopt. Could I have a motion to adopt those minutes, please? Mr. Hunt? Mr. Hunt?
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Someone to second Mr. Hunt's motion. Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Thank you. That motion carries. The minutes are adopted. Mr. Secretary Treasurer, do we have any files to close?
No, we don't, Mr. Chairman, but
Thank you.
on item number 1, when the agent comes forward, the application has to be deferred as we sent out the wrong notice.
Okay.
We sent out a delegated notice when it should have been a regular notice.
Okay, so item number 1 has to be deferred. Okay, we'll do that later. Are there? Committee members, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't see them. I need to see them for the motions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies. I just ask committee members, are there any conflicts of interest that they'd like to declare this morning? Mr. Kidd?
None.
No. Item number 8, I'm acquainted with the agent.
Okay, that's item number 8, Mr. Kidd.
Yes,
Okay, that's 14 Codswell Avenue.
that's right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kidd. We'll now move on to, I'm informed, just a moment here. I'm informed by the Secretary Treasurer that item number 1, 370 Willowdale Avenue, needs to be deferred. There was I believe there was an error on the notice. Mr. Secretary Treasurer, do we need to have the agent? Okay, thank you. I have Mr. Hosseini, are you there? Mr. Hosseini, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Mr. Hosseini?
I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
Okay, Mr. Hosseini, I've been advised by the Secretary Treasurer that your application at 370 Willowdale Avenue needs to be deferred. There was an error on the notice. It has to be recirculated. So we can't proceed with your application today, unfortunately.
Yes, I understand. Can you hear me?
Okay, thank you. Could I get a motion to defer the application, please, Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move that the application for 370 Willowdale and 372 Willowdale be deferred until
Thank you. Someone to second Mr. Hunt's motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? Motion carries. Mr. Hosseini, your application has been deferred sine die pending recirculation of a new notice. Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you.
My apologies.
Thank you.
Move on to our next item, 65 Hillhurst Boulevard. Just a moment here.
Hello?
65 Hillhurst Boulevard, I have one person registered to speak on this item, and that is the agent, Mr. Asadinik. Are you there, sir? I hope I got that name correct.
Hi. Yeah, that's correct. Hi, good morning. I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much. Sir, I just wanted to ask if you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 15th of August?
Yes, we did. And
Okay,
we would be happy-
you're aware of the planning department's recommended condition that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the east and west side elevation drawings submitted to the Committee of Adjustment and attached as attachments numbers 1 and 2 to their report. You're aware of that condition?
Yes, we are, and we would accept those conditions.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's pretty clear what you're asking for in the 3 variances the committee has before us. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments or would like a presentation. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to ask the applicant variance number 2, floor space index is very high. Why?
Okay, thanks,
Fine.
sir. Mr. Asadinik, did you get Mr. Khan's question? It's about variance number 2. I think he's looking, what's your justification for the floor space index?
Yes, sure. First of all, we believe this to be minor and see other previous decisions in the area granting similar FSIs. Our initial proposal was for 0.64. However, at the request of the city staff, we reduced that to 0.61. Our communication with the city planning staff is attached to the supporting documents. It's dated August 10, and we believe they support this and are requesting. It's requesting the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Hang on just
No
a
problem.
moment. There was some audio problems there. Is that cleared up, Mr. Clapp? Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Mr. Khan, did you get your question answered?
Yes, sir, to somewhat. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions of the speaker? Again, we have no one else registered to speak on this item. Could I get a motion on the 3 requested variances, please? Ms. Sankar?
For you, Mr. Chair, I do believe that it does meet the 4 tests and no concerns from planning. So I'll put forward a motion to approve this application. I'll make it subject to the staff recommendations of the August 15th report that states the property be developed substantially in accordance with the east and west side elevation drawings submitted to the committee.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone do second Ms. Sankar's motion? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to city planning conditions.
Thanks all. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Our next item is 979 Caledonia Road. I have one person registered to speak. That is the agent. Mr. Lan Pam, are you there, sir?
Pam is the applicant.
Mr. Lan Pam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
thank you very much. Okay, I can hear you. Sir, before we start, I just wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 15th of August? They indicated they had no objection to the application, provided that variance number 1 for the proposed front yard setback applies only to the one-story front porch enclosure. Have you read that? Are you aware of that recommended condition, sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to ask the committee, it's fairly clear what you're asking for, sir, in the 2 variances before us. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments or whether it would like a presentation. Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Kidd?
This application seems to be of a minor nature. I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application subject to the condition that the variance number 1 for the proposed front yard setback apply only to the one-story front porch enclosure.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kidd. Could I get someone to second Mr. Kidd's motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to city planning conditions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Item number 4, 187 Armour Boulevard. I have one person registered to speak. That is the agent, Mr. Rubb, Alex Rubb. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Yes,
Can you
thank
hear
you,
me
sir.
well?
Just wanted to ask, you have seen the email from the TRCA. They have no objection to your proposal.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. It's very clear what you're asking for, sir, and the 4 variances related to your application. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments or would like a presentation. Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion on this application, please? Please note that we have no one else registered to speak on this item, and there are no comments, no other staff comments or conditions related to the application. Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move that this application be approved, given that it meets the 4 tests for variance and that there are no staff or TRCA concerns with respect to the application.
Thank you. Someone to second Mr. Hunt's motion? Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Mr. Rubb, your application has been unanimously approved without condition, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Item number 5, which is 18 Chelford Road. I have 2 people registered to speak, and the owner is a Michael Pandas. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, sir.
Can you hear me? Great.
I have one person, one interested party here is registered to speak. If you could give us a brief presentation on what you see are the merits of your proposal, sir?
Yes. I don't know
Thank
if
you.
you can pull up a photo. The
Please
photograph there.
Please
Yeah,
proceed,
are you able
sir.
to pull up the photo? Oh, yeah. So this was a deck that was built as part of a pool project. It was a replacement of an existing deck. And if you can look at the next photo after this one, I'm not sure if you can pull that up. Yes, right there. So you can see that the permitted dimensions are 2.5 meters from the home. If we were limited to that, the deck would end within the outline of that other sliding door, which would really not be aesthetically acceptable or really safe. So that's why we requested that we extend this by an additional 0.6 meters so that it fit the original profile and was a more natural fit.
Okay, thank you. And any further comments, sir?
No, I mean, it was we really were forced to adhere to that outline just because of the nature of the home structure, which was built over 30 years ago.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions from the committee on this to the agent? No? Okay, thank you. Our next speaker. Our next speaker is Andre Manukian from 28 Valley Ronan Road. Sir, are you there?
Mr. Chair, it does not appear that Andre is present.
He's not present? Okay, thank you. So there is no one else registered to speak. Committee members, just to like to advise that there are no staff comments or conditions related to this application. Could I get a motion on the application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, I do believe it's minor, and even looking at photo number 5, to me, it does look dangerous, and it does look like it needs fixing. So I'll put forward a motion to approve this application.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion? Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries. Mr. Pandas, your application's been unanimously approved without condition, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Our next application is 160 Ellerslie Avenue, item number 6. I have one person registered to speak. That is the agent, Ms. Andre. Are you there? Are you there, madam?
Yes. It's,
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman
Okay.
and the members of committee.
Okay, just a moment, sir. I just wanted to ask before we start, have you had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 18th of August? Because they're recommending refusing variance number 9 for the proposed rear deck. And if the committee should choose to approve the application, staff recommends modifying variance number 2 for the proposed west side yard setback from 1.217 meters to 1.5 meters. We also have a letter from Councillor Filion dated the 10th of September, which essentially supports the planning recommendations. Have you had the opportunity to read the planning department's report, sir?
Yes, I reviewed it, yep.
And how do you respond to their recommended conditions?
Basically, yeah, I can go like if you would like item by item, or you just like want me to concentrate on these 2 items.
Okay, so I'll let you make a brief presentation to the committee on your views on your application as well as the planning department's comments.
Okay, so on our list, like we have like 12 items as per public notice. To make it easier, like I combined some items together. Group number 1 is item 1 and number 3. It's related to east setback. So this item number 1 and 3 can be eliminated because like we work like in inches and we did converted to meters, like we have like discrepancy of 2 millimeters. About like item number 2, so like it's the planning concern. We work with this planning department and try to come up like with different solution how it can work for zoning and for owners. So, but we need like the owners would like to have like 2-car garage and a small mudroom like about like 4 feet 3 inches. And in this consideration, we try like to make it smaller, but in that case, like we just like you're not gonna get 2-car garage, and we place like doors like from different sides, like from rear yard, but it didn't work. For item number 4, 7, and 12, it's about like existing floor level. So basically, we're not increasing like floor level elevation, like we just like match existing level, and you can see section 1.1 on page A50 that it just aligned like with existing floor. Item number 5 is so like it's about like height like of side wall. Basically, yeah, because like it's addition and we do not have like a lot of option like for aesthetic design, so that's why we got like this item. About item number 7, also like it's related to number 9, like they counted this as 3-story house, but technically it's like 2-story, because like if you would have a basement deeper, in that case, like it would consider it as 2-story. And that's why number 9 of the deck, like we have like item number 9 of the deck, like the zoning bylaw is reviewed as this deck located on second floor, but basically it's not true because like we have like on the ground floor. So if we consider it like this house as 2-story, so in that case, like we wouldn't have this item like at all, like for minor variance. Item number 8 is related to front yard setback. So basically, it's existing porch, and what we're doing at this point, we just convert existing porch to heated space. So we're not adding like any new space there or extend it. About number 9, like I covered it, like it's item number 7. It's related like to the deck. So like as was mentioned, like because like it's technicality, and basically if we consider like two-story house, like we're not gonna have like this item on our list. Item number 10. Item number 10, like it's related to width of the stairs. Basically, to make it like more aesthetically pleasant, we increase like a little bit the width of the stairs. The last like number 11. The height like of the building like is higher because we mentioned like existing slope roof, and like if you're gonna change the slope like of proposed house, like in that case, like it's gonna be awkward, and we wouldn't like to have like such houses like in the neighborhood. And also because the owners like they registered on September 1, on September 1st, like to join us like and speak, but however, they were advised like yesterday that they cannot speak because like only one person can represent case, and in this case it's me. And as such, like yes, they have provided me their like personal thoughts about it.
Sir, can you summarize, please?
Yes, sure. Michael and Monica, like yes, they live like in this neighborhood about like 40 years. They possess like this house like from since 2009. And they really active members of committee. Michael, like,
okay,
was,
thank you, sir. Thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to go back to variance number 9, whether it's the proposal is 59.46 square meters. I didn't understand the reasoning for the explanation for that, and I wonder if you could repeat that.
Yeah, sure. Item number 9. Why we have like on our list? Because like it's considered as 3-story building. Because like of depth of the basement is considered as like kind of like shallow. If you would do like, let's say like underpinning, in that case, like it's gonna be considered as 2-story building, and we wouldn't have this minor variance because right now they see it as a platform on second floor, not on the ground floor.
Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that it's nearly 60 square meters as opposed to 4, which is provided under the bylaw.
Yeah, but they look at on it as a balcony, so that's why like it should be like 4 square meters. But if we like let's say like if it's like 2-story house and the same size like of the deck, in that case like we don't have like any issue with zoning by law.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, Mr. Khan?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, I want to repeat the same thing which my colleague has just item number or variance number 9. Sir, you have to understand that you are exceeding far beyond the zoning bylaws allowable 4 square meter. Now, your justification is too far to accept that this is a minor variance. It is not a minor variance. It does not suit the development. It does not comply with the zoning bylaw. So how, and the staff has already recommended for refusal, and you understand that. So your logic of persisting is not acceptable.
Yes, so I can like say from another side, like if we would do underpinning in the basement, in that case, like yeah, we're not gonna have like this item on our list. So because like technically, like the basement is counted as ground floor. So this is why like yeah, we have this item, and I think like from my professional view on this as professional designer, like I see it like it's very like technical things because the owner wouldn't like to do underpinning, like it's very costly like work in their case. So I really think like it's minor in nature because like it's not on second floor and it's on ground floor. It's deck and it's in neighborhood like it's acceptable like to have such deck. It's either on the ground floor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, sir, I just had one question. With respect to the neighborhood, I notice there's one person, the immediately abutting neighbors, 158 seems to be in support of your application, which would include the deck, but I don't see anything from 162 Ellerslie Avenue. So are the both abutting neighbors in favor of this project, especially this proposed deck?
Yes, like everything, like everyone like in support of this project, like on the sides and at the front of the house. So like yeah, we have a lot of letter of support and like as you can like see, like the owners is very active, like members of neighborhood, and they have like support like from. They have support like from members like of West Willowdale like neighborhood association, like of all members.
Okay, thank you, sir. Committee, no further questions of the speaker. We have no one else registered to speak on this item. We have, of course, the report from City Planning. And could I get a motion on the application, please? Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, based on what we've heard today and the fact that the staff report has indicated a recommendation to refuse variance number 9 and modify variance number 2 from 1.217 meters to 1.5, and also Councillor Fillion's September 10th memo suggesting increasing the front yard setback from 6.29 meters, and he didn't indicate where that setback should go to, but I'm assuming it's to be set back to the bylaw requirement, and also that Councillor Fillion agreed with the staff recommendation to refuse variance 9. I would, but there was no comment on any of the other variances, so I would recommend either approval of this with the conditions provided by staff report and John Fillion, or if the applicant wishes, for a deferral for
No,
giving him an opportunity.
Mr.
Sorry?
Hunt, Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
I just need one motion. I can't have an either or. It's just one motion.
Okay, well, I would, it would be approval with the conditions of staff and Fillion.
No.
Right.
So if you could, if you could put the counselor's, the counselor's letter is just a letter of information, so we can't make that a condition. But with respect to, you can certainly make the city planning report, approve the application conditional upon the city planning report, as long as you read out those conditions that they're imposing.
All right, then I'll restate that I would recommend approval conditional on the staff report of August 18th, where they recommend modification of variance number 2 from 1.217 meters to 1.5, and the refusal of variance number 9 relating to the size of the deck.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Someone to second Mr. Hunt's motion? That motion does not carry. Can I get another motion, please? Mr. Kidd?
Mr. Chair, I am persuaded, I think, by the agent's argument that this is more of a technical nature. I would like to put forward a motion to accept this application on the subject to condition that variance number 2 for the proposed west side yard setback be modified from 1.217 meters to 1.5 meters. And
Okay, Mr. Kidd, if I could just report, if I could just summarize that, you're recommending approval, provided that variance number 2 is modified to, hang on, 1.5 meters. You're proposing that variance number 2, your motion is that you approve the application with a modification to variance number 2, that the side yard setback be increased from 1.217 to 1.5 meters. Am I getting the gist of that correct?
that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Can I have someone to Ms. Sankar seconds that? All those in favor? Opposed? Mr. Khan, what is your vote? Wait, are you supporting Mr. Kidd's motion? Okay, can we do this again? Mr. Kidd's motion, someone to second Mr. Kidd's motion? Okay. Okay, Mr. Khan seconds. All those in favor? Okay, opposed? Mr. Hunt opposed. That motion carries. Sir, your application has been approved, subject to variance number 2 being changed so that the proposed west side yard setback is increased from 1.217 meters to 1.5 meters. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 7, which is 47 Astor Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That's a Mr. Fleming, who is the owner. Sir, are you there? Mr. Fleming, are you there? Mr. Fleming is not there. We'll put this one on hold and come back to him. Item number 8, which is 14 Codsell Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That's Ms. Sabina Rottenberg. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Ms. Rottenberg, are you there?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, madam. I wanted to ask, have you had the opportunity to read the report from the the Toronto Region Conservation Authority dated the 8th of August?
Yes.
You know that they're recommending deferral because they want to review a geotechnical study relating to the slope at the rear of your property?
Yes, we sent them the initial geotechnical. They wanted some modifications. We have sent that to them as well.
Okay.
I just wanted to note.
Okay, now,
that
there's,
sorry.
there's also a recommendation from urban forestry, which is recommending refusal of the application due to the impact your proposal would have on 2 private trees. You're aware of that recommendation from
I
urban
am.
forestry?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to defer your application to deal with TRCA
No.
and urban forestry?
No, because neither, let me begin with TRCA. We have given them a revised geotechnical report. But if you
Well,
look at
Madam,
their comments.
the only comments we have from TRCA are recommending deferral. They haven't reviewed your report. So they
No,
can't,
that's fine, but
they
if you
can't
look
give
at
us any,
her-
Madam, they can't give us any comments back on your application because they haven't reviewed it.
Right, but if you look
Okay,
at the
so-
notes of August 27th, they have dealt with the variances because there's only one variance that deals with their concern, which is the platform at the rear.
I
which is
understand
variance
that,
number
Madam.
2.
I understand that,
Yes.
Madam, but we don't have, you may have submitted documents to TRCA, but we have nothing back from them commenting on your geotechnical report.
No, this has nothing to do with the new geotechnical report. Do you have their letter of August 27th?
The only one we have, just a moment, the only TRCA report we have is August 27th, and they're asking for deferral.
Correct. Okay, but if you read their understanding of the proposal, they note that they have no issues with all the variances other than the rear deck projection.
I understand that, Madam, but they're still recommending deferral of your application.
We have been waiting since May, and we do not want to defer this.
Okay,
We still have
so
to get a
you
permit for
understand the
TRCA.
risk if you go forward?
I do.
Okay, thank you. There is no one else to speak on this application. I'll just ask the committee, it's very clear what the applicant is asking for. We have that comment from the TRCA, and the applicant has decided that they want to proceed with the application. Does the committee have any
I just
questions of the
wanted-
speaker?
I did want to make a comment about urban forestry.
Okay, Madam, it's up to you.
We are under the jurisdiction of course, urban forestry, ravine bylaw, private tree, and this is a ravine lot. The back
Okay,
of the
Madam,
property.
Madam, just, I'll let you do a presentation, okay? That might be better. You give us a presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal. How's that?
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
So the application is to construct a front addition and to move the garage from the east side of the property where it's immediately adjacent to our neighbor's driveway and garage to the west side of the property so that there would be driveway, front lawn, and then our driveway. Also, it would mean that we would remove the below grade garage, which exists for a single car, and build an at-grade garage on the west side. The concerns of TRCA have nothing to do with the front addition. We also proposed a rear deck, which was cantilevered, and they would like to get more information in order to deal with that. And that is only one variance, and that is variance number 2, which if the committee feels, we will either omit from this particular application or have it subject to the approval of TRCA. The other variances are very simple. The 3 variances, 1, 3, and 4, all have to do with basically building in line with the existing house, which was built in 1960. Variance number 6 is extremely minor, and again, we have no issue with deleting that variance if the committee feels that it's onerous, but I think it's not a very big issue. And as for the front yard setback, this house currently is about 15 meters behind or setback from the street, The houses on either side are approximately 7.6 meters in front of this house. And what we're asking for is a variance of 0.39 of a meter to allow us to build a garage in front of the existing house.
Okay, thank you, madam. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, sir. Madam, I want to ask, are you suggesting that we should take variance number 2 out?
If the committee feels that we do have to get a permit from TRCA. We have to get a permit from the other bodies as well. But TRCA's only concern was number 2. So if the committee wishes to be certain, yes, you can remove number 2. We'll have to come back for that. Although I think just making a condition subject to the approval of TRCA would be sufficient for that particular variance.
Madam Rodenberg, my simple question needs simple answer. You want to take number 2 out or not?
I would prefer not.
Thank you.
But at the same time, I do not want to defer this application.
Okay.
That is up to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. You understand, madam, that you understand, madam, that you still have to deal with the TRCA regardless of what the committee decides here today.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Does the, Ms. Sankar, can I get a question?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I do have another question, and that's on variances number 3 and 4 about the side yard setbacks. I would like to know on average, if we were to reduce, usually it's 1.5, why do you need us to reduce it to 1.22 and 1.4?
The existing house is at 1.22.
Okay.
It was built
So
in
that's existing.
1960. And we
And
just
so it's
would like
number
to go.
4?
Sorry?
And so it's variance number 4 with the west side set bar?
Correct. We're just building,
Okay.
if you look at the drawing, we're just building in line with what's there, and it is going to remain as a one-story dwelling.
Okay.
All right, does that answer your question, Ms. Sankar?
It does, and if no one else has anything, I'm ready for a motion. but-
Okay, thank you. Any further questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please, Ms. Sankar?
Okay, and having, through you, Mr. Chair, having listened to what the applicant has said, looking at it, just the application from my standpoint, I do feel that it is minor, albeit the comments of forestry as well as TRCA. So what I propose to do is make a motion to approve this application, but I'm going to make it subject to the approval of forestry and TRCA. Of course, if they are not in agreement, this application will not go through, but if they are, it will. So that will be my motion, approval, subject to the approval of forestry and TRCA.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Someone to second that motion? Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Mr. Khan dissenting. Madam, your application's been approved, subject to TRCA and urban forestry approval and conditions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pardon me? You go. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go back to item number 7, 47 Astor Avenue. Is Mr. Fleming there?
Hi, Chris Fleming is here to speak
Yes.
to 47 Astor as the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Sir, I just wanted to ask, just a moment here. Have you had the opportunity to review the city planning report of September 1st? They're recommending that the proposed 0.914 meter side yard setback be limited to the proposed rear addition as shown on the site plan drawing attached to this report, that the existing driveway be completely restored to soft landscaping as shown on the site plan drawing attached to the report, and that the applicant provide landscape screening along the south rear lot line to the satisfaction of the Director of City Planning, North York District. Have you had the opportunity to read that report and review those conditions?
I did see that, and all of those conditions are as planned currently.
Okay, in view of those conditions, if you could give the committee a brief presentation on what you see as the merits of your proposal and how these recommended conditions tie into your proposal.
Sure. So thank you again for seeing us today and taking the time to hear our proposal. So the renovation design and layout attempt to kind of balance the design that fits with our neighborhood and fits with neighboring houses, while also upholding the intention of the residential zoning bylaws. So we do have several variances, of which the majority we feel are, or the majority actually are a result of the existing structure that we have in existing variances, and the other few remaining ones are kind of within the norm. So the proposal is for a two-story rear addition or side rear addition and a detached garage. And as a result of being a corner lot and the existing variances on the current structure, we have a few variances. Would you like me to walk through the variances, or are there any questions or concerns about the plan as is?
Okay, thank you. I've just noted, sir, that in the city planning report, they were making reference to the side yard setback. So the proposed two-story rear addition will have a west side yard setback ranging from 0.914 meters to 1.067 meters, while the remaining portion of the dwelling setback will be maintained at 2.29 meters. The reduced side yard setback is for the new addition only and still provides for a sufficient setback and allows space for landscaping. I'll just ask the committee, does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, there are no one else registered to speak on this item, and the only conditions we have from staff are relating to the city planning report of the 1st of September. So if I could get a motion on this application, please. Mr. Kidd?
Mr. Chair, I feel this application is, the proposal is appropriate and of a minor nature. I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application subject to planning conditions. Number one, the proposed 0.914 meter side yard setback be limited to the proposed rear addition as shown on the site plan drawing attached to the report. 2, the existing driveway be completely restored to soft landscaping as shown on the site plan drawing attached to the report. And 3, the applicant provide landscape screening along the south rear lot line to the satisfaction of the Director of City Planning, North York District.
Someone to second Mr. Kidd's motion? Ms. Sankar seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries. Sir, your application's been unanimously approved, subject to city planning conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Item number 9, which is 55 Park Hill Road. I have one person registered to speak. That is Mr. Malek Zeta. Are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just wanted to pretty clear what you're asking for in the variances we have before us. We have no one registered to speak on this item. I noticed that we have report from Transportation Services that has no objections to your proposal, and there are standard conditions from Urban Forestry. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments or would like a presentation. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, Mr. Malik, I had a lot of problem reading your drawings. They were unreadable. Terrible, terrible to say that I couldn't make out most of the dimensions that you mentioned. They were smeared. So variance number 5 is also, I would ask you to modify. And what is the lot size?
Okay.
The lot size, sorry about that you couldn't read, but that's the standard that we always send the drawing to the committee, and this drawing was reviewed by zoning examiner, and we didn't get that comments, but I'm sorry about that. The lot size is 10.7, the frontage, and the depth is the depth is 30.73 meters.
Mr. Chair, I would like the staff to project one of the drawings so that I can explain my point to the applicant. That's what I mean.
Mr. Khan, which drawing is that?
They can put forward any plan.
The site plan drawing?
I would, yes, sir, you're right.
Okay, let's just, Ms. Kotaz, can we put that up? I think it's drawing number A0. A0. Site plan and statistics. Okay, Mr. Khan, that's we have the proposed site plan.
Now this is my question. This is my question to Mr. Malik. See the condition of the drawing and the dimension you're mentioning. I mean, smeared, or you can't read. I mean, what is going on here?
I read this dimension that you asked me from the same drawing. I think you just can zoom it a little bit and then see the note. Even in our table, we said that what is the frontage and then what is the lot area number. These are all written in our table.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
I'm just saying that if you zoom, the standard size of the drawing for the Committee of Adjustment is 11 by 17. And then certain scale can fit in this size title block. And then we're trying to use as much as we can. I don't know, I never received this kind of comment before from the city.
I think, if I may interject, Mr. Khan, I think if you did increase your screen to 100%, you're able to see the fine print very clearly. So I've just done that, and I'm able to see the specificities of his drawing. I do have a question, though, through you, Mr. Chair. Just getting back to the point of variance number 5, the proposed floor space index. Perhaps a better question would be, why do you need to increase it to this capacity? Maybe if you could just give a little bit more of an explanation.
Yeah, that was my question too.
I was trying to reframe it for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
No problem. The proposed GFA is 72% versus 60 and 0.6, and this is based on the request that we have from the end user. Is a family of 5 is living in this house. The size of the lot, actually, unfortunately, the lot depth is not as usual in this area. So that is actually pushing our number in terms of the GFA a little bit high. As you see, the lot is not that depth, is backing to the Allen Road. They living in the existing house. They just need the more space for the family of 5. So that's why I had to increase it in order to give them the space that they need. And then we compare with the previous approval in the area is within the approval and then consistent with the pattern of approval from the committee in this area. Not exactly the same street, but a block on the west of this address, and then also on east side of the Allen Road as well.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Senker, did you get your question answered?
Yes, and
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
ready for a motion if no one else
Okay, thank
wants
you.
to.
Any further questions of the speaker? There being none, can I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, looking at this application, I'm seeing that staff has no concerns. There's no concerns from transportation. And I do believe that, looking at it, it meets the 4 tests because I accept the explanations provided by the applicant here today. I will make this application. I'll put a motion to approve it, and it will be subject to forestry. That's my motion.
Thank you. Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application has been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Item number 10, 5 Graymar Avenue. I have one person registered to speak. That is Victor Jewetberg. I hope I spelt that, I pronounced that correctly. He's the agent. Sir, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
very clear what you're asking for in the 3 variances we have before us. I'm just going to ask just to let you know, we have recommended conditions from urban forestry, but we have no other staff comments or conditions from any other municipal departments. I'll just ask the committee if it has any questions or comments. There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move the approval of this application because all variances applied are minor. They are approved with the condition of to meet the conditions of TRTA.
Mr. Khan, the only one we have from the city for
Forestry
conditions are urban forestry. So are you moving
Yes.
approval subject to urban forestry?
That's it.
Thank you. Someone to second Mr. Khan's motion. Mr. Hunt seconds. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Sir, your application's been unanimously approved, subject to urban forestry conditions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Move on to item number 11, 16 Glenavy Avenue. I have 4 people registered to speak. The agent is a Carol Jin. Madam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I just wanted to ask if you had the opportunity to see the city planning report of 15th of August. They appear to have no objections to your application, provided that permeable materials are used to construct the proposed driveway. Have you had the opportunity to review that report?
Yes.
Okay, madam,
Yeah, we're going
if
fine
you
with
could
that.
give us a brief presentation on what you see are the merits of your proposal.
Okay.
Thank you.
First of all, Chairman and the committee member of Committee of Adjustment, good morning. My name's Carol Jin. I'm the architect and agent for the owner of 16 Glenavy Avenue. Our proposal basically is to tear down existing house to rebuild and construct a new single-family home. And the reason being that is obviously to meet the present need of a family. And also with the same time, and we try very hard to respect the character of the neighborhood. And we have 8 variances. Basically, the variances being generated is based on the design of architecture, the functional requirements. I can go through the first one. The first variances is basically the building, the zoning bylaw allows for 9 meter. Our height is 9.9 meter. Is basically because we have 3-story. The initial design, it was over 10 meter. We had to scale down to below 10 meters. The second one is it's also based, by the building design, and just for the front wall, rear wall, and the third one is same. So the number 4 item is FSI. The current proposal is just about under 3,000 square foot. It's a 3-story, 3 bedrooms, single family home. Basically, the initial design also is bigger. We also scaled down after talking to the community planner. We feel this size is gives you better flow for the space and the functional requirement. The item 5 is talks about the side yard setback. So the side yard is to the left. Our proposed side yard setback is 0.46 meter. It's about 18 inches. It's actually existing building is about 1 foot. So we actually the new building we moved it in 6 inches more. That's really is also a structure, a consideration, because we don't want the footing is projecting into the neighbor property. So and to the right hand side, we have keep the comply with the zoning bylaw, which is 0.9 meter. Currently, it's a driveway. So item 6 is it talks about the projecting porch. The porch has setback of a 0.46 meter. Is project into 1.63 meter into the front yard setback. So actually, current design is we have the option to move the house forward a little bit. The current site plan actually shows it's not projecting the front yard setback, but with this we could have an option to move building forward. So the main wall of the building is aligned with the neighbor, the budding neighbor to the left and right. The porch, however, the porch is projecting into the front yard 1.63 meter. The number 7 talks about the entrance. So like this design nature is pretty common. Basically, you split the stairs, the steps, right? We have steps outside, and then we get to the porch, and then we go into the side of the building. Have few steps going down to the main floor. So that generates another appearance. The number 9 is landscape for your landscape. So basically, right now we are a bit over. We're 75%, but we are going to comply with city requirements by using permeable paving material for the driveway. So in my opinion, we have spoke to pretty much all the neighbors.
Madam, can you summarize, please?
So basically, we feel our variance is pretty modest scale compared what was built on the same street. There's one is higher.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you. We have 3 others. I'll just ask, are there any questions of the speaker? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Chen.
Yes.
My concern is variance number 8. Yeah, front yard landscape 75% is required by zoning bylaw, and
Yes.
yours is only 51.8%, which is deficient. It is not minor. It is quite a bit. How do you explain?
Well, it's just by nature, the design to create a driveway. So we're going to use permeable material. And the other way we could do is we could reduce the width of the driveway slightly to create more a landscape, soft landscape.
Now, it has been recommended by the staff the same way, permeable material, but you are saying you will squeeze the driveway. How much
That's
it will
correct.
increase then?
Sorry?
What will be the percentage then? Instead of 51.8, how much it will increase?
Maybe it will be very minor. It could be 5% because the current driveway, I believe, is a 12. It's a little bit wider. It's about 12 feet. So all we could do is maybe another 2 feet at most, in order to make it work.
What will be the percentage, ma'am?
55. I mean, it will be 70.
So instead of 75, what will it increase to? What that percentage is?
We're increasing to 70% of front yard landscape could be soft landscaping.
That is not the answer I'm asking. I'm asking the percentage, how much it will increase from 51.8 to what?
Oh, sorry. I was wrong. And so we'll get into 55.
Okay, hang on a
55.
second.
Thank you.
Madam, are you proposing to change your variance?
We could have, increase to 55.
Well, no, we're not making a deal here. Are you, your variance request is for 51.8%, as I recall. 51.8%. So is that what you're going with?
Yes, with current design.
Thanks.
Yes.
So that's what you're going with. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to the next speaker on our list, which is Andrew Kendall. Are you there, sir?
I am here.
Yes,
Can you hear
Mr.
me?
Kendall, you have the opportunity to voice your comments and concerns on this application.
Thank you. We have a concern about variance 1 regarding the building height. We're a neighbor in the backyard, and I just wanted to know if there's been a survey done regarding sun exposure and how that'll affect our sunlight.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, sir? I didn't hear you.
I wanted to know if there has been a survey done regarding the sun exposure because of the height variance.
Well, what we can do is we'll refer your question back to the agent when they come back on, okay? How is that? And they can answer that question.
Thank you.
Okay. Next speaker is Mr. John Joseph Dubinsky. Are you there? Mr. Dubinsky, are you there?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Dubinsky does not appear to be present.
Okay, thank you. I have one other speaker, Ona Young from 8 Glenavy. Are you there?
Yes.
Yes, thank you,
Can you
madam.
hear me?
You have the opportunity to voice your concerns with this application.
Yes, I have a comment slash
Can I get your full
question
name and
about-
address, please?
I'm sorry. My name is Ona Zhang, and the address is 8 Glen Abbey Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so I have a similar question that previous, I guess, participant asked. The first one, the height difference, it is roughly about 3 feet of a difference, and Glen Abbey Avenue is a pretty small street with very, most of the houses being similar height. So I guess I'm sort of looking at it as a sort of aesthetically from the street level that it might be big. It might present a big change along that small street, and that is actually a concern of mine.
Hello, madam, we've lost you. What was that?
Yes, I was talking about the first, the variance, the height difference, 9.91 meter from 9.0 meter, which is the allowed permitted height. And that's about 3 feet of a difference. And that Glen Abbey Avenue, it's
So
it's a pretty small street. So I'm concerned about that, how it looks from the street level.
Okay, thank you, madam. We'll also raise your concern. The applicant will have the opportunity to address your concerns when they come back on. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Go back to, oh, I'm sorry. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Okay, we'll go back to Ms. Jin. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You've heard the comments from Mr. Kendall, who lives at 13 Rowley Avenue, and you've heard the comments from Ms. Young, who lives at 8 Glenavy Avenue, and her comments are with the height. So if you could address both those comments, please, or their concerns.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to address the building length. Basically, the current proposal is pretty. It's a projecting to the backyard is similar to the budding neighbor to the left and to the right. We're maybe slightly 5 feet projecting to the backyard more than the neighbor to the right, and we're not seeking the variances for the building length. That's my first comment. The second comment is in terms of height. I feel under 10 meter with the dormers is pretty compatible. It's pretty fitting in the character of the neighborhood and the streetscape, because there are quite a few houses built in this sort of similar configuration, this design. We didn't feel like it's overwhelming. It's pretty modest, in my opinion. Yeah.
Madam, I just had a question. The style of the home, the architecture of the home, as well as the type of landscaping, it's not something I found it in my site visits to the area, especially in the northern end of the street. This type of architecture and site design is not uncommon. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Is any further questions of the speaker? There being none, can I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I would like to move the approval of this application with conditions. First of all, they have, Ms. Chin has changed the variance number 8 to 55%. And also staff has recommended that a permeable material be used for the proposed driveway.
Hang on, Mr. Khan, hang on. You're talking about moving approval of the application, making a motion to approve the application, but changing variance number 8 from 51.8% to 55%?
That's right, sir.
Okay. Now, remember that the agent is proposing 51.8%.
But she has accepted 55% later on. She said she will move to 55%.
Well, okay, I asked her subsequent to that, and she indicated she wanted to move forward with the 51.8%. So regardless, your motion is to move approval, but with variance number 8 changed from 51.8% of the front yard will be soft landscaping to 55% of the front yard will be soft landscaping. Is that correct?
That's right, sir.
Okay. Someone to second Mr. Khan's motion?
A couple of conditions as well, Mr.
And
Chair.
those, hang on, just a moment. And the urban forestry condition.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's right.
Mr. Khan, I'm sorry I interrupted. Please proceed.
And no problem, sir. And also, I'm taking the staff recommendation. Permeable material be used for the proposed driveway. And number 3, conditions of the forestry to be complied with.
Okay, and urban
That is
forestry.
my motion. Yes.
Okay, someone to second Mr. Khan's motion? Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? That motion, opposed? Ms. Sankar dissenting. Madam, your application has been approved with a modification to variance number 8, so that in the front yard soft landscaping has been increased from 51.8% to 55%.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 12, 53 Joycey Boulevard. Do I have 2 people registered to speak? The agent is Mr. Rubinoff. Mr. Rubinoff, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Rubinoff, I just wanted to ask if you've had the opportunity to read the city planning report of the 15th of August, where they indicate that they appear to have no issues with the application, provided the property is developed substantially in accordance with the south and north side elevation drawings submitted to the committee and attached to the report. Have you had the opportunity to review that application, that report? Thank you. We do have one other person registered to speak, sir, so if you could give the committee a brief presentation on what you see are the merits of your proposal.
Thank you. So good morning, everyone. This is an application for a new home at 53 Joycey Boulevard. As you can see from the map that's on the screen right now, this is not an unusual application for the area. Many previous buildings in the area, including next door at 55, with variances related to similar to what we're proposing. So we're proposing, an increase in lot coverage to 38%, a small increase in the overall building height. Wall height, variance number 3 is what staff spoke to us about, and they're fine with that because if you look at the side elevations, it's for the windows that project above the eaves. It's not, the walls are not 9.68 meters high. If you look at not the photos there, but the drawing, if you show the drawing on the side elevation, there's basically just a couple of windows that project above. As far as the site itself, it is a bit of an irregular, the lot slopes a bit, so that affects the building length calculations with regards to the deck. One of the variances related to the rear deck says that it's projecting back, what is it, 4 meters. The actual rear deck is only at 1.2 meters, but because of the way the angle is measured and where it's measured from, it's a technical variance in that way. So city staff did review this application, and the only concern they had was to tie us to the side elevations. And as you can see from the plans, they do fit in terms of the site plan. Building length, if you look at the site plan, you'll see that the neighboring houses themselves are of similar length, and there are many variances in the neighborhood also, or many redeveloped houses in the neighborhood with length variances as well. This is an area which has substantially had a lot of construction activity and a lot of redevelopment, and we feel that this development before you is appropriate for the site and for the area. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Rubinoff. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? There being none, we'll move to the next registered speaker, Ms. Niblet, are you there, madam?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, thank you, madam. You have the opportunity to give us your comments on this proposed development.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have my spouse with me. He would also like to speak. Is that okay?
Yes, he can speak separate. Can I get your full name and address, please?
Yes, it's Jody Niblet, 51 Joycey Boulevard.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm very confused about the terminology minor variance, because when you actually do the math, it's some of these variances are over 60%. So, like, for instance, variance number 3, the wall height, 7.5 to 9.68. That's 24 feet to 31 feet.
Can I ask a question?
No, no, you have to wait till this person has made their presentation.
Okay, and I actually have been following this day for you, all of you, and one of your first questions is, have you been able to view the city staff report? I have no staff report in front of me at all. And my second concern that is of most important to me is the lack of recorded properly tree protection I spoke to the supervisor from Urban Forestry yesterday, and he says he has a report in front of him, but it wasn't recorded properly. So it just seems a little rushed and a little sloppy to me at this moment.
Well, madam, have you had the opportunity to see to look at the staff report that's filed online with this application?
No, sir, I have not.
Yeah, everything's done online, madam.
Yes, I realize
so
that.
So the staff report with respect to the height issue said that the 9.68 meter main wall height variance applies only to the portion of south and north side elevations, if that is any help. With respect to Urban Forestry, they've indicated their conditions to the committee should we approve the application, and that is with respect to paying, I believe, let me just double check, that the owner has to pay for a provision of street trees in the area. So that would be their recommended condition with respect to this application. There's no other conditions from forestry with regards to this application.
Yeah, that's concerning to me, because he did say that there was a report, but he read it to me yesterday and said it had not been recorded properly. I am pretty savvy to online things, and I have no staff report from the city. So I'm actually going to go ahead and ask for deferral of this application, if I could, please.
The only person who can request a deferral, madam, is the applicant. So
Okay,
I'll ask that question when he comes back.
Okay. Okay. Now, may I introduce my spouse, Alan? He'd
Pardon
like
me?
to speak if that's.
Sure.
May I introduce my spouse, Alan? He'd like to speak to you. Thank you.
We submitted a
Okay, sir,
letter to-
can I get your name and address, please?
Yes, I apologize. Alan Wilson, 51 Joycey Boulevard.
Okay, please proceed.
If I may ask, did everybody has everybody read our submission to the Committee of Adjustments?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, sir? I didn't hear what you were saying.
Has everyone read the submission we put forth to the Committee of Adjustments prior to this meeting?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so you see, as I've laid out all of our concerns, lot coverage increasing by 10%, wall height. There seems to be some miscommunication in the numbers, which may be in the staff report, and I believe Mr. Rubinoff has addressed. It just makes it very confusing to look at drawings and then look at variances and see what the variances actually are. Wall height, building length from 17 to 18.2, that's a 7.6% increase. It puts their house 5 feet or 4 feet past our actual house and deck. And the elevation is of concern as well, because the main floor that comes out onto the deck on the rear of that property comes out at 9 feet above ground level as the ground slopes to the back of the house. So they are basically looking over into our backyard And with their deck and a subsequent lower deck, basically our backyard will have no privacy. The side yard setbacks going to 1.22 from 1.8. Ms. Sanker had stated previously in another committee review that the norm now is to allow 1.5. So that would be one of our requests as well, that they stick to what is now the deemed norm. The rear main wall yard setback from 18 meters to 19 meters. It's a 3-foot 3-inch increase. This again goes back beyond our house. We have a concern that the tree protection zone that exists or was given to this tree in our backyard, it's a private tree. It encroaches, the house goes right up to that point of tree protection zone. The concern is that probably 60 to 70% of the canopy of that tree is over 53 Joycey. We spoke with the supervisor yesterday, explained this to him, and as you can see in the pictures, the vast majority of the canopy of that tree is going to be over their deck, probably their house, their lower deck, and our concern is how much of that tree is going to be damaged to the point that it's not going to survive. If that's the case, who's responsible in the future to pay for the tree coming down? The reason that tree is leaning in their property is because we had an 80-year-old maple in our backyard that unfortunately we had to take down because it just basically fell apart. So this one we allowed to grow, and it's grown with a lean to it. So you can see down the property line how much of that tree is actually over 53. And the house is going to go back to where that little child's chair is. So there's an awful lot of damage going to be done to that tree and the roots. And in talking with the forestry department, he had stated, as my wife stated, that there were things not recorded properly. They seem to have done an aerial view that they keep on file, I guess, for the city of Toronto. And he's not sure if somebody actually came out to the site and looked at the property. So because of that, we are going to request that things be reviewed properly and deferred. I'm asking the builder, I guess he has to do it until the forestry can do a full examination of this tree. And we may have to do one privately as well. But the house does not fit with the scope of the neighborhood. Sure, there are some that are being built, and you know, they're just these monster homes that take away from the streetscape of the neighborhood. They're pretty houses, but everybody comes home into their garage, goes up in their elevator, and has a wonderful time in their house. Kids don't play anymore. Neighbors don't meet each other. It's just ruining our wonderful old neighborhoods in the city of Toronto. And for that, we're very, very sad.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the committee have any questions of the speaker? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, I do have a question for the Wilsons. I did read the entry that they submitted to the Committee of Adjustments in depth, and I have two questions. So the comment about the 1.5 setback, just to let you know, that depends on the neighborhood as well. But I would like to know, first of all, which side are you on? You're at 51 Joycey. Is that the south side yard setback or the north side yard setback?
We're on the south side yard setback.
Okay.
And just further to that, the people on the north side, I just met him yesterday. He did not know of the deadline. I don't know if they were away at a cottage or something, but they were very, very upset that they didn't have the opportunity to submit anything.
Okay. My second question is around the lot coverage, because I've heard some of the explanations from the applicant at the beginning of his presentation, which allows me to feel a bit assured by the explanations for some of the variances. But with respect to the lot coverage, he did show a diagram of several properties in the area having increased lot coverages of beyond 38%. Some are at 40-odd%, et cetera, for the neighborhood. And it seems to be very close to your area. You've said that you don't think it's in scope. I just wanted to hear your feedback once more in terms of whether this does fit the character of the neighborhood.
Yes, I can address that. Basically, the way the city was before, we are in North York. Toronto is right beside us. The rest of the street to the south is basically 20-foot lots. And they're small houses. They have a smaller footprint. Their lot coverage is a lot smaller. They have yards. To the north is North York, and most of them are 40-foot lots, of which we are probably the first. We are the first one from the old city of Toronto. So yes, to the north, you're going to see an awful lot of bigger houses on bigger lots. To the south, and we're only 3 houses in from the stop sign where it changes, that everybody to the south is these smaller lots with smaller homes from the, the 20s, 30s, 40s. Yes, they are putting up some larger homes to replace them, as they were pointed out by Mr. Rubinoff. However, it's changing the street into a street of just these large homes, large buildings that, like I say, we have neighbors that moved in 5 years ago across the street we've never met. They come in, they go in their garage, they go in their house, and kids don't play together. It's unfortunate, and it's changing the streetscape into this basic homes and not neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further questions of the speaker? We'll go back to Mr. Rubinoff. You've heard the comments from the neighbors at 51 Joyce. If you'd like to respond to those comments and concerns.
Yes, thank you. Just touching on Ms. Sankar's comments or questions. You're right. The city the limits changed just on the south side of 51, and it's a different zoning area. It's a different bylaw. We have to work with what bylaw that we are subject to, and our bylaw is the North York zoning bylaw. The decisions that we've shown on the maps that we submitted are primarily North York in terms of coverage. That's something that's a North York standard, whereas the south part, it's a density standard. The next door neighbor at 55 has a coverage of 40.4. So this is immediately to the north of this property. And in the backyard of that at 60 Ridley, they have a coverage of 46%. And there's several cases of lot coverage being granted in this area. The building length itself, part of the building length calculation is also based on the irregular way in which the lot kind of angles off. That impacts on the deck. I mean, the concern about the tree, we've stayed outside of the tree protection zone. That was our intention from the beginning. The branches may overhang onto the property, but forestry did review this. And the only comment they had was to have us plant a tree deposit for the front. So that tree being there will act as a buffer in terms of privacy as well, which was also brought up as a concern. The other thing is the side yard setbacks. This is a 40-foot lot in a zone which, where the requirements are slightly larger. But as you can see, 55 next door has a 4-foot side yard, as do many of the homes in the area, many of which were granted that because of the 40-foot lot is not a 50-foot lot, and we have to be mindful of that. I think that the overall height explanation from city staff, it was really just to clarify that the wall height is only to allow for the windows above the eaves. It's not an overall building height. It's really just for those windows in that area. So I do understand the neighbors' concerns when they read a variance that shows such a big difference in wall height. But that's kind of the way the bylaw is written, in the way that it's calculated doesn't always reflect it in the variance listed. So I would say that going back to the staff report and going back to just neighborhood renewal, and I'm looking at the North York portion of it because I can't really comment on the Toronto part, just to say that what is being redeveloped here is very much in keeping with what's being redeveloped in this entire neighborhood. And I feel it's appropriate that the size of it it's not as big as some of the other homes in the area. And it's certainly, we tried to set it so that it steps between the house on the left and the house on the right to make sure that it does blend in the front. So I would say that's all the comments I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rubinoff. Are there any questions of the speaker? There being none, could I get a motion on this application, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I mean, I really want to commend the neighbors for coming out and speaking, and I want to let them know that I've heard them. In terms of this application, though, we have to look at it also from the technical perspective of a couple of different bylaws at play here and what's really happening with the progress of the neighborhood. So in that sense, I've accepted most of Mr. Rubinoff's explanations. And what I will propose is a motion to approve this application, but I will, number one, make it subject to forestry so that forestry has to approve, first of all, in terms of tree protection, so that the application wouldn't go through if forestry is not on board. So it will be subject to forestry, and I will also modify variances 8 and 9 to 1.5 meters each. So they will be increased, the side yard north and south side yard setbacks to 1.5 meters. And I'm going to ensure that the property is also developed substantially in accordance with the south and north side elevation drawings submitted to the Committee of Adjustments.
Okay, Ms. Sankar, could you just, again, the proposed modifications you're suggesting to
It's
variances number
variances.
8 and 9, could you just repeat those, please?
Yes, variances 8 and 9 will be increased to 1.5 meters. The application will be subject to forestry and subject to the conditions of the August 15th staff report.
Okay.
They're developed substantially in accordance with the north and south side elevation drawings.
Okay, thank you. Someone to second Ms. Sankar's motion. Mr. Hunt seconds it. All those in favor? Opposed? Mr. Kidd dissenting. Mr. Rubinoff, your application has been approved subject to urban forestry conditions, city planning conditions, and variances number 8 and 9. The side yard, the north and south side yard setbacks have been increased to 1.5 meters.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Now on to item number 13. I have one speaker registered on this item. That is Mr. Henry Wang, who is the agent. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Wang, I just wanted to ask, have you seen the staff report of the 17th of August from City Planning? They're recommending that the committee refuse variance number 1 for the proposed lot coverage. And should we decide to approve the application, that staff recommends that the increased main wall height of 8.86 meters shall be limited to the front and rear bay windows, with the majority of the main walls facing the side lot lines at 7.68 meters in height. And there's also a letter from Councillor Filion dated the 10th of September recommending refusing the lot coverage variance. I would imagine, sir, that refusing the lot coverage variance would effectively scuttle your application. Is that correct?
Yes, I understand. Yes.
So I would suggest, would you like to defer this application to discuss this issue with city planning?
Actually, we've been discussing.
Okay, so you'd like to proceed then? Okay, so what I'll suggest you do, sir, is that you make a presentation to the committee on what you see as the merits of your proposal in light of the city planning report recommendations.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
And, I understand the lot coverage is a little bit over, but I think still minor in nature. And our house pretty much line up with the neighbors on the back, on the left side. And from front wall.
Sir, we're having trouble hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, that's better.
Yeah. Okay, so our design pretty much in line with neighbor's house. And from front wall to rear wall, we are in line with neighbor's house. And the massing it's also very much match the size of the neighbors. And we also respect neighbor by maintain the side yard setback 1.8 meter. So the only variance are really the lot coverage. But I think we've spoken to the neighbors around us that we showed them our design, and they pretty much support, have no objection whatsoever. And so I think still it's minor, and also our client, Ms. Kang, has a big family. I think they're planning to have more kids. Also, they live with their parents. So just please, committee, consider this. And I believe all the neighborhood have already developed that this shaggy bungalow. So they want to just build a house there to match with the neighborhood. Yeah. I think that's all I want to say.
Okay, sir, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, you had in 2017, there was a variance granted to this property in 2017 for a 32% coverage. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now you're proposing 34.95%.
Yes.
Okay, so
my client.
okay,
yes.
can you tell the committee what does that work out to in terms of square meters, in terms of difference in terms of square meters? How much of an increase in square meters does that represent going from 32% to 34.95%?
Do a calculation.
Yes, well, what does that work out to in terms of square meters? How many additional square meters does that add from when you go from 32% to 34.95%?
I'll do calculation. Give me a little time.
Well, you can remember, you can come back to that question and answer it later. I'll just ask the committee, does it have any further questions of the speaker? Mr. Hunt? Mr. Hunt, we can't hear you.
I'd just like to confirm a statement by the applicant that if the maximum lot coverage of 34.95 is not granted, then it renders the application inoperable.
Oh, sir, are you there?
Is that?
Yeah.
So you have a question from Mr. Hunt asking whether refusing your current lot coverage variance would effectively scuttle your proposal. Is that true? You'd have to go back to the drawing board.
I would like to, but if the committee really suggests so.
It's just a simple yes or no. Would you have to go back to the drawing board if the committee refused your lot coverage variance?
Yes, we are.
Okay, yes, so I'll take that. Now, have you had the opportunity, what's the difference in square meters between the lot coverage at 32%, which was approved in 2017, and the lot coverage you're proposing now at 34.95%? How many square meters does that represent?
It's about 20 square meter.
How many?
On one story. About 18 square meter on one story.
Did you say 50 or 16?
18.
Okay.
18 square meter.
16 square meters. Okay, thank you. Does the,
18.
thank you. Does the committee have any further questions of the speaker? Or being none, can I get a motion on this application, please? Mr. Hunt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Given the staff report with a recommendation on August 17th to refuse variance 1, plus the increased main floor or main wall 8.86 be limited to front and rear bay windows with majority of main windows facing side lot lines should be 7.68 in height, together with the letter from the councillor refusing the same variance, and the indication from the applicant that by doing so would render the design inoperable, I will move refusal of this application.
Okay, so Mr. Hunt, you're recommending refusal?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Can I get someone to second that motion? That motion does not, oh, Mr. Kidd seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Ms. Sankar dissenting. Sir, your application has been refused. Thank you very much, sir. That's it for our morning session, folks. We don't come back till 1:30. So we'll see you at 1:30.